Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this short devotional video as we continue to be separated physically apart. I was thinking back to kind of when the news of this outbreak started, or really when it not just in the area of China, but whenever it began to make its way throughout across the globe. When it began to show up in places, and we were really beginning to be concerned, here in Arkansas. And there was a lot of different opinions on this, right? There was those who said, well, this is no worse than the flu. This is no worse than other viruses that have come along. Well, the truth is that it is worse. The truth is fatality rate seems to be higher, quite a bit higher. And there are others who are going, well, this is it. This is going to wipe everybody out. And somewhere in between those two, we've talked about this before, somewhere in between those two are the facts. Somewhere in between those two are the truth, or is the truth. The truth is. Truth is that this virus is spreading. Truth is that the numbers are going up. Truth is we haven't seen the peak yet. Truth is that this is becoming a little bit unnerving for us to not be together. It's made us do some things a little different. It's because we're living according to the facts, living according to what's true. We do this in other areas of our life, right? I got up this morning, and if I were to get up in the morning and start to go outside, and Stacy says, listen, hey, it's really cold out there, I'm going to put on a coat. I'm going to dress like it's cold out there, because the truth is the temperature's down. Truth is it's cold. We live according to the facts. We live in that truth. Reality is our friend. This kind of pointed me in a spot in Scripture that I don't think we spend a lot of time in, but I think it's a really good place whenever we begin to talk about this, about living according to what's true. And it's from a tiny little letter, 2 John. And I just want to read the first 6 verses really quickly. It says, the elder, to the elect lady and her children whom I love in truth, and not only I, but also all who know the truth, because of the truth that abides in us and will be with us forever. Grace, mercy, and peace be with us from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, the Father's Son, in truth and love. I rejoice greatly to find some of your children walking in the truth, just as we were commanded by the Father, and now I ask you, dear lady, not as though I were writing you a new commandment, but the one we have had from the beginning, that we love one another. And this is love, that we walk according to his commandments. This is the commandment, just as you have heard from the beginning, so that you should walk in it. In the first 4 verses of the introduction to this tiny little letter, the word truth is mentioned 5 times. According to the truth, the truth, the truth. John's going to go on in the remainder of this letter, in the next 8 verses, 7 verses. And he's going to talk about how we live this out, live out the truth, and how we live in love of the truth in some difficult circumstances. In his difficult circumstances, it was dealing with false teachers and how to show hospitality. This wasn't like having a difference of opinion. These were people teaching that Jesus didn't really come in the flesh. So it was a little bit, it was pretty sticky. But I want us to think about, kind of for our time here, just for a minute or two, so think about what it means to walk in the truth. Right? It's living based on the facts. Right? It's not just knowing the truth. It's not just, giving a nod to the truth. It's actually taking action because of the truth. So what are we talking about here with John? What's he talking about with truth? Truth. Truth is that God is. The truth is that God is. Starts back in Genesis 1, right? In the beginning, God. It wasn't, well, there's a beginning, and then here's God. It's in the beginning, God. already there. Exodus chapter 3. Moses is in the Sinai wilderness. God appears to him at the burning bush. And Moses says, okay, if you want me to go back to Egypt, tell me. Who am I supposed to tell them sent me? And he said, you tell them I am. Right? We get all the way. It comes all the way through Scripture. You get to Revelation. And as John is confronted by the risen Jesus, he says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. He is. He is. God is. He's not that God was, not that God will be. It's God is. God is with us. And God has some demands of his people, those who he has redeemed. Truth is that Jesus is. Jesus is the Father's Son, is what John says. Jesus is God revealed to us. John writes in his gospel, in John chapter 1, says, no one has ever seen the Father. No one has seen God. But the God, the one who's at the Father's side, has made him known to us. He's referring to Jesus. Jesus is the revelation of who God is and what it's like to love and what it's like to live amid difficult circumstances. The Hebrews writer, Hebrews chapter 1, right? At various times, in various ways, God spoke to the fathers through the prophets, and it has in these last days spoken to us through his Son, whom he has appointed heir of all things. And God is revealed in Jesus. Truth is that we need to learn to navigate doing things differently now. Truth is, and I'm so glad that we're already doing this. I'm so glad that there are so many, and I'm not talking about the staff here. I'm talking about so many who are figuring out what it's like to love one another, to follow that great commandment when we're distant. We get calls here at the office from people saying, do you know somebody that's in need, because we want to help. We get calls of how can we help, and we're finding different ways of reaching out. That's kind of my encouragement for today, is to say, listen, the truth is that yes, this virus is dangerous. Right? It's dangerous to a lot of people. It's dangerous to our medical system. It's dangerous in various ways. That's the truth. The truth is that Jesus has conquered death. That doesn't mean we live recklessly. It means that we can live confidently. That we can live confidently and compassionately. What does it look like to love others in the midst of this? It may mean staying away from them and reaching out in other ways. It may mean trying to find ways to lend a helping hand. It's going to look differently for a while. But the truth is that God is. The truth is that God's in control. The truth is that God will bring us through this one way or another. And I believe that the truth is that before long we'll be back together. And the truth is that we're going to learn to love better because of this. It's difficult being away. It's strange being apart from those we love dearly. But that's what it means right now to live according to the truth. That we don't give up loving. But we also understand that love looks a bit different right now. My prayer for us all is that we continue to reach out. We continue to lean into God and allow him to lead us. May God bless us as we learn to continue to walk in his truth.